Hey everyone, I got a new guitar here to review for you today. This is the Harley Benton Fusion 3. If you clicked on this video, you're probably already familiar with who Harley Benton is. If you don't know, Harley Benton is the house brand for a German company called Thomann. Thomann is a huge music store in Germany. You can only buy Harley Benton guitars through Thomann, or at least buy them brand new through Thomann. Either ordering off the Thomann website, or if you're actually by the store in Germany, you can go in the store and buy one. Harley Benton's one of those brands that I was always curious about, mainly because there's a lot of hype surrounding them on YouTube. They're known for making really good quality guitars that punch way above their weight at very reasonable prices. I was curious, so I've always been curious about them. Not enough to go out of my way though. Every time I'm in the market for a new guitar, I will check out the Thomann website, see what they have to offer. It just so happened in this case here that the the guitar that interested me the most this time was a Harley Benton guitar. So yeah, like I said, this is the Fusion 3. This is the only Harley Benton guitar I've ever played, so it's just going to be a review on this guitar here. Just to let you know my experience. None of this is to encourage you or discourage you from buying one. I'm just sharing my experience about it. Um, and I'm not affiliated with Thomann in any way. I bought this guitar myself. So yeah, this is the Fusion 3. The Fusion 3 series does have various models with different pickup configurations and finishes and fretboard materials, all at varying prices. This particular model here, as of this recording, listed on the Thomann website for $225 US. With Thomann being a German company, their U.S. prices are based off of how strong the U.S. dollar is against the euro. Um, so the U.S. prices do fluctuate. That only makes sense because they're a European company, but not a lot. I've never seen their prices fluctuate more than maybe $5 or $10 in either direction. Um, and then depending on where you are in the world, there usually is some shipping charges to figure into the price. Where I'm at, I'm just outside of Chicago, so to ship this guitar from Germany, it was about $68. So overall, I paid about $300 for this guitar. That being said, um, I am actually really impressed with this guitar. This guitar does punch well above its weight, and even with the shipping charges, this is a lot of guitar for the money. So yeah, this particular model is designated as the Fusion 3 HSH EBFCH. Basically, the HSH refers to the pickup configuration. It is a humbucker single humbucker pickup configuration. The EB refers to the fretboard material. It is ebony fret. It is an ebony fretboard. On the Thomann website, it's listed as Macassar ebony. And then the FCH refers to the finish on the top. It is a flame maple veneer for the top and a translucent or transparent cherry finish on the top. Some other features is it has natural wood binding. It has a gloss black finish. The body wood is listed on the Thomann website as Nyato. Sometimes it's referred to as Paliquin. It does have a 5-way switch. It's got a master tone or master volume, master tone. The tone knob is a push pull for coil splitting. The bridge is a Wilkinson 50 IIK 2-point trem. On the fretboard, it has clay dot inlays, and then the frets are 24 stainless steel medium jumbo frets. The nut is a Graphtec Tusk XL nut. The neck is maple. And then for the tuners, it has 6 inline locking staggered tuners. And then on the headstock, it is a matching it is a matching headstock with the cherry flame maple veneer and cherry finish. Like I said, this guitar is actually quite a bit of guitar for the money. It does have some appointments you normally do not see in a guitar in this price range. I mean, the stainless steel frets. I mean, there are a couple of other brands. I know like Eert and Latitude, though they do offer stainless steel frets in this price range. But other than that, that's really unheard of. I mean, I've seen $700-800 guitars or even higher. My $1,200 Schecter Reaper doesn't have stainless steel frets. The Tusk XL nut, that is another thing you really don't see in a guitar in this price range. Most guitars in this price range, I know Firefly does offer bone nuts, but other than that, you're just gonna find a regular plastic nut on a guitar in this price range. And then the locking tuners is another thing you really do not see a lot of in guitars in this price range. I'm sure there is probably at least one brand out there that does offer locking tuners in this price range, but I don't know who they are. And like I said, I mean, even my $1,200 Schecter Reaper didn't come with locking tuners. I Other than that, and yeah, this guitar is actually very very nice. There are a few character marks and a few minor flaws in the finish. It's not perfect, but it is a really really good guitar, especially for something I paid only $300 for. So why don't I go ahead? I'll give you some close-ups on the guitar. Go over what I found on it, and then a few of the minor things that I found. They are very minor. It's actually kind of nitpicky, but anyways, I'll go over that stuff with you, and then after that I'll plug it in and give you some tone samples. Alright, so here's what the guitar looks like up close. As you can see on the top, we have the flame maple veneer with the transparent cherry finish. On the bridge, we have the Wilkinson 2.50 IIK bridge. One little nitpick about the bridge is the setup on this was kind of cumbersome. I did do some setup work to this guitar. It was completely playable out of the box, but to suit my preferences, I did make some adjustments. And like I said, there is one little nitpick about this bridge. The setup is a little cumbersome. You have these lock screws here on the saddles. So you have your adjustment here and the height, just like with a Strat. You have the little Allen screws here, and then for the intonation, there's little Allen screws in there that you adjust. The problem is, though, every time you make an adjustment, you have to loosen these screws here, but then the saddle kind of moves and changes position. So to get an accurate, so you have to loosen this, make your adjustment, but then to get an accurate measurement of where you're at as far as intonation or action, you have to tighten that back down. So you're constantly going back and forth, loosening it, making your adjustment, tightening it, seeing where you're at. Like I said, it's a minor thing. I mean, how often are you actually going to do that? And I mean, I'm a Floyd Rose guy. I have 3 guitars with Floyd Rose bridges, so I'm no stranger to cumbersome. So it wasn't anything I was really gonna, it's not really a deal breaker for me. And then one thing too is the saddles. Actually, as far as adjusting the action, there really isn't a whole lot of room for adjustment. In fact, to get the action down to where I like it, I actually had to adjust these screws here to lower the bridge down a little bit. It is supposed to be a floating bridge, and it still does float a little bit still, but you kind of lose a little bit of your range of motion. It's mostly just dive bomb only, which, to be honest, it really wasn't that high to begin with. So, I mean, really all you can do is dive bombs mostly on this anyway. Other than that, the bridge is actually really nice. It feels really nice. It functions really well. It holds tune fantastic. I mean, I've gotten really dive bombing and just really just given the whammy bar a lot of abuse, and it's still, I haven't had any tuning stability issues at all with it. On the bar, one thing I will say too that I had a little trouble with is, I don't know if the camera really picks it up, but inside the bar there's threads, and then inside where the bar goes there's a little screw there, and the idea is you're supposed to actually screw the bar in to adjust the height, and then there's a little set screw right there to adjust to hold the bar in place, depending on if you like the bar to kind of swing around a bit or if you like to keep it in one place. For the life of me, I couldn't get it started on the threads and the screw. I don't know if I was just not doing it right. I don't think it's an issue with the threads because I was able to take the screw out completely and thread it into the bar by hand. I just when it's in the bridge, for whatever reason, I can't get it to thread. Not a huge deal, honestly. What I did is I just backed the screw out a little bit till it was at the height that I like, and then I just tighten the set screw. I just use it as a pop-in bar. It works just fine like that. But that is one thing. We have the controls here. We have the 5-way switch. We have your master volume, your master tone, and it is a push-pull for coil splitting. The pickups are HSH. They are the Roswell branded, which Roswell is like Tolman's or Harley Benton's proprietary brand of pickups. They call the bridge and the neck the HAF Alnico 5, and then the middle is the S74 Alnico 5. They sound pretty good. I mean, they're not like, it's not anything that's going to blow your mind. I mean, if there's one thing I would upgrade on this guitar, it would be the pickups. I know a lot of people do. I don't have any plans to do it right now. I think they sound pretty good as far as that goes, to me at least. I mean, everybody's going to have their own opinions. Here's the back of the guitar. Here's the finish here. Never mind the fingerprints. That's what the trem cavity looks like. And then there's the control cavity. It does look like they did actually paint the control cavity with some shielding paint, which is a good thing. And then the pot is a full-size, the volume pot's a full-size pot. It looks like it's an alpha pot. There are a couple of little nitpicks about the finish. I mean, and honestly, something like this and a guitar in this price range, it's not something that's surprising or a deal breaker. I mean, everybody's going to have their own idea as far as what they'll tolerate and what they won't tolerate. On the back, or on right around here, it does feel like the finish is a little rough. I don't think the camera will pick it up, but almost kind of like the finish maybe piled up a bit while it was curing. Again, not a huge deal. I mean, you'd have to go over the guitar with a fine-tooth comb to find that, and it doesn't affect how the guitar plays, and you don't even feel it while you're playing because your arm's right here anyway. And then I'm not sure if the camera will pick it up a bit or not. But the binding, the finish does, there are a few spots. I mean, you don't almost have to look at it with a microscope to find this. There are a few spots where the finish does bleed over a little bit into the binding. Again, not a big deal. I mean, that's something you really kind of expect with a guitar in this price range, and it doesn't affect how the guitar plays, and the guitar still looks great. And I mean, let's be honest, there's $3,000 Gibsons that have that same issue. So, it's something on a $300 guitar, I'll tolerate that. There's the fretboard. It is an ebony fretboard. There is one little tiny ding. It's kind of hard to see. It looks almost like a knot next to the inlay there. Looks like maybe there was like a ding and then they filled it in at the factory. Again, not a huge deal. Doesn't affect how the guitar plays, and it's hardly even noticeable. I do like how this fretboard looks. It's not like jet black like you normally see with ebony, and there is a little bit of streakiness in there. To me, it reminds me of like a really dark rosewood in person. That's what it looks like, and I really like how it looks. It's really, really nice. We have the 24 medium jumbo stainless steel frets. The fretwork on this was okay. Like I said, the guitar was playable right out of the box. But one thing I did experience was when I first got the guitar, the frets were a little scratchy, especially doing bends on the high E string. I mean, with stainless steel frets, you really shouldn't be experiencing that. But I mean, again, $300 guitar. Basically, what I had found, there were there were some tooling marks that were left over. Not a huge deal. When I did my setup, I had the strings off anyway, because I like to put the strings that I like to use on. So I just buffed them out. I just buffed them, and, with like 800 grit sandpaper, and then I hit them again with some 1,000 grit sandpaper, and then I polished them. And yeah, now they're smooth as glass. They feel how you would expect stainless steel frets to feel. Other than that, actually, I was pretty impressed with the fretwork. The fret ends were nice. They weren't sharp. They felt smooth. They are really nice. The guitar is very comfortable to play. And I'm really impressed with how these frets are leveled, to be honest with you. I mean, I have the action dialed pretty low on this. I have the action probably about a millimeter and a half at the 12th fret, and I mean, no buzzing at all. And then so moving on to the nut. That is a GravTech Tusk XL nut. It is cut really, really well. There's no binding in the strings at all. Like I said, this guitar holds tune really, really well. I can get rather dive bomby with with the whammy bar, and it'll still hold tune really well. So, and a lot of that does have to do with how well the nut is cut. There's the headstock. It's a flame maple veneer with a cherry finish matching the finish on the top of the guitar. You have on the string trees, they are rollers on the string trees, which is another nice thing that helps tuning stability. And then we have the 6-in-line locking tuners. They are staggered, and they are locking. That's what the neck looks like. One thing about the tuners, these tuners are really nice. They're just like generic. They look like just generic unbranded tuners, but they feel really good. I mean, honestly, I mean, no binding. They don't feel like they bind up at all. No play in them. They're really smooth operating. I don't know what the ratio is on them. I didn't find any information on that. But they do feel really smooth. They do feel really nice. And honestly, I would keep these tuners on here. There's no reason at all to upgrade. So anyways, that's an overview of the guitar. So why don't I go ahead, plug it in, and give you some tones. All right, so I got it all tuned up and plugged in and everything. One thing I forgot to mention about the scratchy frets, it didn't hinder the guitar or render the guitar completely unplayable. It was still playable. It was just kind of a little scratchiness. Um, and I probably could have played it in and it would have smoothed out eventually. I just chose to buff out the marks just because I had the strings off anyway. Anyways, on to the playing demo. I'm going to be playing it through my little 110 Orange Crush 35 RT combo amp. For the crunch tones, I have my Music Lily Vintage Overdrive pedal, and then the dirty tones, I'm just going to be using the dirty channel on the amp. And then I am also playing through a Behringer noise reducer NR300 noise gate pedal, just to reduce the hum from the single coil pickup. So yeah, I'll just go through each position. I'll start with the clean tones, and I'll go through each position, each combination. So we have. That's position 1. on to the crunch tones. We'll start with position 1 with the bridge in full humbucker mode. Alright, now on to the dirty tones. We'll start with position 1 again. Yeah, one thing I mentioned earlier is this trim is really good on this. You can get real dive bombing with this, like. It's still like in tune. And yeah, you can get real dive bombing with it. It holds tune really well. But anyways, onward to the rest of the playing demo. Alright, so that was the Harley Benton Fusion 3. Let me know in the comments what you guys think. And then if you have a Harley Benton guitar, it could be this guitar or any other Harley Benton guitar, feel free to share your experience with them. But overall, I really enjoy this guitar. I really like it. I'm definitely going to be keeping it around in the collection for a while. And I'm sure this won't be my last Harley Benton guitar. This was actually a really good experience with this one here. Anyways, thanks for watching, and then be sure to like and subscribe if you want to see more. Thanks.